What's up, YouTubers? This is your boy Big Metroid Fan 12 coming to you with another video game review, and this time I'm reviewing the game WWF King of the Ring, which was released on the NES and Nintendo Game Boy by LJN and Eastridge Technology. Now, this game is pretty much based off of the 1993 King of the Ring pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? That tournament was Bret Hart pretty much won that particular tournament that year. You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing about the game is that the NES version has um, 11 wrestlers: Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, uh, Randy Savage, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Yokozuna, Mr. Perfect, Lex Luger, Bam Bam Bigelow, and a generic wrestler named you, where the player can name that particular wrestler any name they want and give them the attributes. You know what I'm saying? And the Game Boy version don't have Bam Bam Bigelow and the Undertaker in it. You know what I'm saying? Now both versions have pretty much the same modes in the King of the Ring game, which are the one-on-one match, tag team match, the tournament, King of the Ring tournament. That's about it. Plus the all of the wrestlers pretty much have the same set of moves. You know what I'm saying? Like drop kicks, body slam, suplexes, and things like that. But they don't have their signature moves or their another name for it would be their finishers. You know what I'm saying? Like with Razor Ramon, he don't have his raise his edge, sharp. Bret Hart don't have a sharpshooter and stuff like that. Now with the one-on-one mode, that pretty much is your basic one-on-one match where you can have Randy Savage versus Hulk Hogan, or with the NES version, you can have Undertaker versus Bam Bam Bigelow. You know what I'm saying? Now the tag team mode is pretty much the same thing, but the main difference is a tag team match. You know what I'm saying? Like with the NES version, you can have, say, like Undertaker and Bam Bam Bigelow versus Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage and stuff like that. With the Game Boy version, you can have two like tag teams like Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon versus Randy Savage and Bret Hart. You know, now the tournament is pretty much a where you face all of the other wrestlers in both versions. You know what I'm saying? The NES version will consist of like 9 matches, where the Game Boy version would consist of 8 matches, where the goal is to become WWF champion. You know what I'm saying? And that's really like the only championship aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? And the King of the Ring tournament is pretty much it's the 8-man single elimination tournament, which is based off of a real life counterpart. You know what I'm saying? But with the I remember with the King of the Ring pay per view that year, it was a 16-man elimination tournament. Now, the winner, of course, will be considered King of the Ring. You know what I'm saying? And I guess it has a what's if you win it, you have that a bland cutscene, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you will pretty much consist of just some bland music and stuff. Now with the tournament itself, when you pick your character, the other wrestlers will be picked at random. You know what I'm saying? Now the graphics and the design of King of the Ring are pretty bad. You know what I'm saying? But the NES version has a slight advantage in terms of the color palette. But even then, the color is pretty bland for the NES version. And to be truthful, that's not saying much. You know what I'm saying? Considering LJN made this game, you know. Now the controls and gameplay there, I could say mediocre at best, but at the same time, that's due to the fact that there's nothing about the controls and gameplay that stand out due to the fact that all of the wrestlers got the same set of moves. You know what I'm saying? Now, considering that the real life counterparts did have their own different styles of wrestling, you know. Now, the both versions of King of the Ring just don't have a soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that you hear just the sound effects make it just outright bland. You know what I'm saying? I guess they was just. I guess they didn't either. They didn't have the time, or just too lazy to put together a soundtrack. You know, and I can honestly say that WWF King of the Ring for the NES and Game Boy are the worst WWF games that to appear on both consoles. Maybe probably the worst WWF game of all time. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely not as good as some of the other wrestling games that came out after it. You know what I'm saying? Now, to be truthful, I'm not going to recommend this game to anybody. You know what I'm saying? You better off playing other WWF games like the Day of Reckoning games on the GameCube or SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 on the PlayStation 2. You know what I'm saying? As far as the score, I definitely give it WWF King of the Ring 2 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, if you played this particular game rather on the NES or Game Boy and you think this is the worst WWF game of all time, you can mention it in the comments section. If you think that the gameplay is okay, you can also mention that. You know what I'm saying? If you think the other WWF games that appeared on the NES or Game Boy are better than this version, you can also mention that. With that being said, if you like this video, don't hesitate to click the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification button. This is your boy Big Metro Fan 12 signing off.